hard to do backwards.
Are you done?
When you can't see where it's going, you should get a real clapper thing.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Can I do the video now?
Go ahead.
Okay. You like my Sally cup? Hey YouTube cosplayers, it's me, I'm back. Hope you guys are doing well. And it's Halloween time. Actually, Halloween is 1 week from today. And we are doing a couple cosplay that we are only just now getting started on. And it's really not for anything. We're not going to any like Halloween parties or anything like that, but we just felt like with no conventions this year and absolutely nothing going on, probably no trick-or-treaters or anything like that, that we really just wanted something to work on together that would make us feel like we were getting ready for a con. And so to get the true authentic feel of it, we decided to wait until the absolute last minute to con crunch our Halloween costumes a week from today. Right, we're gonna do Jack and Sally. And so now we're in Halloween crunch. It's my husband's kind of joke. That movie is so adorable. We love everything Tim Burton. And I'd only just watched the movie, was it last year, I think?
2 years.
2 years ago. Malcolm was like, have you ever seen The Nightmare Before Christmas? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh my God, we need to watch it. And I just fell in love with it. I love Sally, I love Jack, I like Oogie Boogie. We even decorated the front of our house for Halloween for the first time like ever, because we usually go all out on Christmas decorations, but never on Halloween. But because 2020 has been a really scary year, we decided we were gonna decorate the outside of our house for Halloween too. Okay, so what I wanna do is I wanna talk through a little bit of my brainstorming for this costume. So if you've watched the movie, then you know that Sally is the blue-skinned, red-headed, ragdoll character in the show, and she is absolutely in love with Jack Skellington. So she was invented by Dr. Finkelstein, who keeps her locked up because he wants to protect her from the outside world, but she wants to see the outside world and experience the outside world and all of the things that she can't see inside of that house. She is very like super talented, she's kind, she's sweet, she has these characteristics that I love, plus she loves to sew. She's like an expert thank you. Can't find my words. She's like an expert seamstress. She keeps a needle in her hair and thread in her pocket. Cosplayers, right? Her personality just kind of draws you in, and I think that's what I love about her. And we're going on to kind of the materials portion now, I guess. Yep. Yay for unboxings. Not really. I have some linen fabric right here. I bought a yard of each of these in the different colors that is her dress. And I'm going to probably dip them in a little bit of tea stain to darken them. It's a pretty kind of faded movie. It's not very bright at all. I ordered these from Amazon, and they are some blue leggings. I couldn't find tights, which kind of sucked. They didn't have any that could be here in time, and so these are open foot leggings. Sew this together and then make the gloves. For the leggings part, I can just wear them with black and white socks and some boots. I have boots that I use for a Carmen Sandiego cosplay. They're perfect, I think, for this cosplay. I ordered a red wig. This wig is a darker red probably than what some would imagine for Sally, but I think it'll go better with my skin tone. And I like to order wigs with roots so that it blends into the actual black of my own hair. I'm going to have to work really hard to braid all of this underneath this because I let this grow out during, you know, our quarantine. And I think I'll keep it. Here's the very long, kind of wavy red wig. Yay! It's so pretty. It's so pretty and dark red. I'll use a brush to kind of brush out the waves a little bit before putting it on. I love when companies send wig caps with their wigs. And so we've got the wig and the wig cap. Right, so that's Sally. That's the idea that I have for Sally. Did I mention that Halloween is a week from today? Hubs has it easy. He's gonna paint some stripes on his suit that we bought from Amazon. Actually, that's not really easy, is it?
It's gonna be a lot of work.
I know, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
You're gonna have fun.
It's not easy.
It's gonna look really good when he's done. He's like meticulous and he paid like attention to detail when it comes to things like that. So I think it'll look super good. He painted his Spider-Man shoes and wow, they look just like the real thing. They're so amazing. I'll be back. All right, so here we go.
It means it's done.
Hey guys, so it is my editing self here, and I was looking at this and wanted to explain exactly what was going on here. Besides the fact that my very helpful husband is helping me get my life together by making the book easier to access so that I can copy what I'm seeing on my images. I am drawing the shapes that I will cut out for the dress directly onto my mock-up. So for this mock-up, where you would usually use muslin fabric, I used a gauze. I did that because it's not like it's easier to draw on or anything like that. In fact, I think muslin is probably a little easier to draw on, even though I usually use pencil for that. But when you cut out the individual pieces of gauze, it sticks better to the fabric. So when I was ready to kind of lay the pieces out on the linen fabric to cut it, it kind of self-adheres to the fabric because of the texture of the gauze. So I liked the way that it looked. I liked the way that it kind of fit onto my dress form. It didn't wrinkle or anything like that. It didn't gather or pucker up. As you can see, it pretty much just laid on there and just really was self-adhesive to anything that I put it on. So it just made cutting and drawing and everything a ton easier. And just kind of quickly going through the shapes and marking exactly what needs to be which color. And when I cut it out, I didn't want to be confused. You'll see a little later on too where I stopped to take pictures of the front, sides, and dress. It's not specifically or only for social media, although I did end up posting some of those pictures there. It's mainly so that I could pull up the pictures and remember exactly which piece would be connected to which other piece. So that's basically what I'm doing here. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. All right, so my editing self is out.
All right, so we have all the pieces cut out right here, which is really cool. I really do like this gauze as the mock-up fabric, and so I thought I would just start with them. So here's my red, and I'm going to trace them with a Sharpie, adding the seam allowance directly onto the fabric. Now, I know Sharpies usually are not a good idea. I do realize that. I've never used a Sharpie on anything that I've made before. However, Sally's dress is kind of put together by black stitching anyway, and so I thought it would just add to the whole look of the cosplay if I used a black marker, which you probably won't see anyway. All right, good morning guys. I am getting a really late start today. Just needed a quick break, but I've been waiting on these to dry. I finally finished rinsing these using brown RIT dye. That's what I eventually ended up using. So in the camera, because of the lighting, it'll probably look a lot brighter, but they are as dingy as I wanted them. So they're all of my dreams and hopes and wishes combined. So what I need to do now is actually iron them, but I just wanted to show you the results of how they would look. Here, let me turn down the camera lighting. There we go. So now you can see a little bit better kind of the nice dinginess that I ended up with. This one is kind of dark. You can see the difference in this teal, and then some of the splotches. And at first I was a little upset and I was going to redo it. And it was the end of the day. I'd spent probably maybe 3 to 4 hours above the stove, between the stove and outside, letting these dry, and I just was not feeling it. So I decided that since this is the back part and it is a little darker, that I think it would just give it some character to kind of have the splotchiness of the lighter teal kind of peeking through. Plus there is not a pattern on this one, so I don't have to worry about painting on it and then no one being able to see it. And then there is a black part of the dress that I have here, and I've got some of these left over. This still needs to be painted, so I'm not quite finished, which, oh my god. But I am going to use some yellow fabric paint for this one, and I tested it last night and it actually turned out really well. I like the color. It kind of matches the dinginess of everything else. And so her dress has just a few of these yellow shaded, I guess, patterns in them. And so I decided to go with that. You could probably see it better against the red, or even against the black. Yay! So yeah, I'm going to paint these and let them dry. And while these are drying, I'm going to work on the design for all of these. But yeah, I'll be right back.
Exactly. He's far better off growing up away from all of that. Until he is ready. There, Hagrid. It's not really goodbye after all. Good luck.
People press their ugly faces in on you. Can you hear me? It's just, I've never talked to a snake before. Do you? I mean...
Okay, so it's my editing self back to explain a little bit of what's going on here. I have my supplies out. All of my individual pieces have been cut, and my inspiration pictures. I got my paintbrushes and my fabric paint. This fabric paint is Fabric Creations from Plaid. Plaid paints, I've used them for years and I love them. So I decided to just paint straight out of the bottle because the consistency is always perfect. I started with the low-hanging fruit, which would be the polka dots, because I wanted to make sure that the consistency was actually exactly what I needed. And so as you can see here, I am moving well along with the polka dots, and you'll see in the next kind of images that I am painting all the designs on. All right, so editing fern out.
I'm half and half. My dad's a muggle. Mum's a witch. Bit of a nasty shock for him when he found out.
Okay, so my editing self just actually can't help herself. I just wanted to add real quick here that I found in the middle of painting that it was actually easier for the paint to spread when I wet the fabric. So I went and got my spray bottle, and before I painted each section, I just sprayed a little bit of water, and that allowed me to use less paint and the paint spread a lot easier. So that's just a quick pro tip. If you can, and it's not going to mess up your fabric or ruin your fabric, you should try to use water on your fabric when you're using fabric paint, because it helps just overall.
All right, guys, it's another 1 o'clock in the morning day, but I got everything done, and hopefully you saw some of the footage from today. This fabric here is the part of the dress that does not have patterns, and you can see right here 2 of the patterns, the polka dots and the kind of check pattern that is on her dress, and that is the yellow. The yellow dye turned out fantastic. I couldn't be happier with it. And then over here in this dark corner of the living room, I have the painted fabric that is drying. So you see the sleeve with the stripes, and then that black and red part right there. There's a small patch. There are 2 patches on her dress, and one of them has polka dots on it, so I finished that just now. And then this bright yellow polka dotted piece. I wish that I'd done the layout of the polka dots better, but I think once it's on the dress it'll be better. This little tiny polka dot there in the corner, I don't know, I added too much water and it did some running, so I'm just trying to ignore it. I don't know what else to say. And then this little spirally part of the dress right here, and these are just about completely dry actually. This yellow piece is still wet, and yeah, tomorrow I'll be ready to sew it all together, so I'm really excited about that because I was not really sure how this was going to turn out. Hey guys, okay, so it is, I can't even tell you which day. It's Friday, I know that, and I think this is what, day 3 or 4 of this dress. So I'm getting started really late today. I needed to do some blog maintenance stuff, and that took up quite a bit of time. I also slept in a little bit because I was tired. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys the dress. I've pinned it to the mannequin the way that it should look once I sew all of the pieces together. And so that's the front. Okay, so here's the side. And I think the yellow looks a lot brighter on camera than it actually is. These colors are pretty dull since I dyed it and everything, so don't think that the yellow is as bright. Although it could be a little duller, I didn't want to risk putting it in any more of the RIT dye, and because that's painted and I don't know how the RIT dye would react to actual painted fabric and not just fabric that is natural. Here's the back of the dress. And here's the other side. So yay! I am not unhappy with it at all. I hope that it will look just as good, you know, once it's sewn together. But I've got quite a bit of seam allowance, and so I'm gonna have to start on the sides and in the back and just be really, really careful about stitching it back together. But every single piece has a seam allowance of at least 1 inch. So that won't be too hard. I think that I would have liked the red to be a little more dingy, the red that's on the bottom, but in hindsight, I would probably have used the pink and then used RIT dye in red and just dipped it a little bit rather than using the very deep kind of crimson burgundy red of the linen fabric that I purchased, thinking that I could lighten it. So it's much like a synthetic wig. It's really hard to lighten a color that's already dark, but it's very easy to darken a color that is light. And so that goes with fabric too. So that's what I learned about that. So back to the back part of the dress. Yep. I will put a zipper from the top here to the bottom of the yellow polka dot, and it's the perfect place for a zipper because the teal fabric cuts across that back part, and it will allow me to slip into the dress either by pulling it over my head or by crawling into it, which preferably I would pull it over my head and then put on my wig. So yeah, that is the dress, and I'm going to work on sewing tonight. So see you in the reveal.
But first, the stitching all around Sally's dress, using just plain black yarn and embroidery needles. So I sat down in front of YouTube, and Hubs and I watched a bunch of Star Wars videos while I just attempted to hand sew all of these stitches all around. It was a lot more relaxing than I thought it would be. I realized that not all of the stitches were X's, and so you had quite a few of just the dashes, and then in between I would put some of the X's just for some variety. And yeah, I just patch by patch, fabric by fabric, inch by inch, we got it done. And I really liked the way it turned out. Again, you'll see it in the reveal, but this is just the hand stitching montage that I hope is more relaxing than it is stressful, because I did speed it up. And now some footage of Hubs painting the stripes on his suit. I think he is on the actual suit jacket now, and it looks like the front of it. And just look how meticulous that is. So if this is something that pleases your senses, then you should just enjoy the tunes and watch him paint his way over the jacket.
So I'm finished with the dress and just wanted to get some shots of it for you. And no, I have tried it on. It fits really well, but I'm not putting it on for the reveal this time, simply because I'd have to do all the makeup and everything, and my husband and I were supposed to put on this costume together, so I'm still waiting on him to finish Jack, and when he does that, then we'll put it on and take official pictures. But here's the wig that goes with it, and then you can see the dress from the front. And I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. The dyeing of the fabric, everything was perfect. And let's turn it around so you guys can see the back of it. And we had our Nightmare Before Christmas set up for Halloween, so we still have it up because, I mean, it could go all the way till Christmas and we just didn't want to take it down. So we've got our Jack pumpkins that we painted, and I put up some Christmas trees just so it would match the whole Christmas theme, and so the neighbors wouldn't be like, are you guys ever gonna take down your Halloween? Well, no, because now it's Christmas. Ha! I actually can't wait to wear it. I just, for this video, I just wanted to get it out for you guys, and so just wanted to show you some different views of it. This patch is one of my favorite things. I love the patches on the dress, and you'll probably be able to get better images on my Instagram page because I'm going to take some shots of it. But I really, really do love the patchwork and the dyed fabric, and painting the fabric was a lot of fun, so yeah. That's what we're working with. So here's a shot of the front again. And that's pretty much how everything's gonna, that's how we'll end it here. So it's really late. Hope you guys enjoyed your Halloween, but even more so, I hope you guys are gonna enjoy your holiday season, and we will see you for the next work through. I don't know what to call this, cosplay work through. We'll see you for the next one. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you've had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye.